All right, been a long time since I've done a video worth anything. I think I've shot a couple little things here and there, but hasn't been anything very good. And a lot of changes have happened. New boat, got rid of the motorcycle, got rid of the other boat, uh, downsized a little bit for no particular reason. We just weren't riding the motorcycle much anymore, and our kids don't go with us on the boat much anymore, so we decided we want a little speedier boat. This boat's a little faster and more of a sports car, you know. Anyway, outside of that, life is still life. My wife actually got laid off from her job, has got a new job now, pays about the same. Got real lucky there, went right into a different job. My job's changed quite a bit. Uh, Last time we talked, I was hell bent on working as long as I could work. So I really loved my job, and I still actually do love my job. And I'm reminded of that once in a while. But then I come back to the office, and then I'm reminded why it's going downhill. Uh, because they might see this video. I'm not going to say who, what, where, or why, but there's a couple of people at our company that I think are actually trying to make it fail. It kind of reminds me of the movie Major League. It's a comedy about the Cleveland Indians, and the owner wants to move the team to somewhere warmer, so she does everything she can to make the team fail. That's kind of what I feel like these guys are doing. They're making the worst decisions possible to make the company fail. But that's just my opinion. It means nothing. I'm just a dumb truck driver. I don't get paid to think. I get paid to drive. So anyway, I in light of that, and also in light of a conversation that I had with some friends my age, it's a class reunion. Uh, this conversation was about retiring, which is always our conversation, has been for a while. Um, and they know it's one of my favorite things to talk about. And so here we were talking about retiring, and there's three of them I'm standing there talking to, and all three said, "Yeah, I'm retired next year." I'm like, I'm the only one there out of four people that ain't. I thought, what the hell are they talking about? And it dawned on me. We all turn 55 next year. And you may have heard of the rule of 55. If not, quick rundown is if you leave your job, retire, quit, I don't know if it covers getting fired, but I'm guessing it does. For whatever reason, you leave your job in the calendar year that you turn 55. So I turned 55 in the calendar year 2026. So, as I understand it, anytime during the year 2026, if I decide to leave my job, I can start using my traditional retirement funds, not Roth funds, but traditional. And I think there are some pensions that also allow you to start using them. I don't know that for sure, but I know the traditional 401k does. I'm pretty sure the traditional Roth does, I'm sorry, the traditional IRA does, but not the Roths, 401k or IRA. That said, the conversation I went home with my wife, she was overhearing this conversation, and she said, "Well, can we retire 55? Will you turn 55? Next year?" I said, "Well, hell no." But then I thought, you know what? I'm going to think about it. And I actually did some calculations. Calculations didn't look good, and I showed her. I was like, I don't like this. This won't work. And this has been 4 or 5 months ago. And then, as I say, things have been changing in my job. And she got laid off after this. Things changed. I mean, they really changed. And some kids fell off of insurance. I mean, so there's actually some downsizing that's happening even in our budget. And I just reflecting on this, and then having some of the trouble I've been having at work, you know, it makes you think, well, what if I had to step away? What if I just I couldn't stomach being here one more year? You know, if I can make it till next Christmas, let's say, I'd be 50, a little over 55. If I can make it to that long, how much money would I have? Well, so I did some figures, just because I wanted to know. And if I was to step away from the workforce at the end of next year, I'd have approximately $412,000 in IRAs, traditional 401k. Now that's including Roth. Again, you can't spend the Roth. You can only spend the traditional until you hit 59 and a half. Then you can spend the Roth. But from 55 to 59 and a half is only 4.5 years. So I'm not going to take Social Security until 67, or that's the plan. So I got to ride out 12 years anyway. So is $412,000 enough to ride out 12 years? Well, you can spend it down, and I mean deplete it in 12 years. While it's earning 8% average, you know, so you're not going to be able to put it in bonds. You're going to have to put it in, you know, S&P 500, Dow Jones index, you know, broad market index, something like that, something that actually makes some money. But yeah, you can get $4,400 a month. I forget how much that is a year. I think it's just over $50,000 a year. I didn't write that part down, sorry. $4,400 a month, basically, till you hit 67, and you'd be spending your Roth after 59 and a half. But you spend it all the way down to nothing. And then, in my wife and I's case, it just so happens, and I don't know how this happened, but it just so happens at 67, with her Social Security kicking in, she'd be 62. She'd be 62 and a half. I'd be 67. Our combined Social Security is $4,400, so it's projected to be right now $4,400, same as our withdrawal rate coming down. I thought that was interesting, and so I thought, you know what? And again, like I told her, I said, hell no, we can't do it. It's just not enough. $4,400 ain't enough. We're used to making way more than that. But then, in light of things happening recently with my job, it kind of forced me to think, what if I really, really needed to? What if I just could not do it anymore, couldn't do this anymore? What kind of lifestyle would that look like? So I itemized all of our bills. I know that's backwards, sorry, so I'll just read it to you. We pay, including insurance, phone, electric, water, satellite, gas for her car, and my truck, which we live close to work, so neither of us drive very far. Food, and then I put down miscellaneous, but that includes like detergent and stuff like that. Household goods that isn't food. Plus, she gets her hair and her nails done, and she's going to keep doing that. And she has a regular subscription to one supplement she takes. All of those things combined, insurance, phone, electric, water, satellite, gas, food, miscellaneous, hair, and supplements, is $1,960. That's it, $1,960. Now, we do go do things. We both use our credit cards. We both have about a $450 limit. Now, it's self-imposed limit. That's because that's the most we ever want to pay at the end of the month for our credit cards. We can go higher than that. We just don't. We pay them every month. There's never a late fee, never a penalty, never interest. That's about $900 a month. So adding that to the $1,960 is $2,860. Okay. What did I just say? If I retire next year, a few months from now, next year, call it Christmas, New Year's, what we will call it, I can start pulling $4,400 a month out of my 401k and an old IRA traditional, of course, till 59 and a half, then probably combining it with Roth money, all the way to 67, at which point that will be gone, be wiped out, nothing left. But then Social Security kicks in. I live on 4,400. We live on 4,400 for the rest of our lives. Well, with our bills and our current lifestyle, where we go out and spend money on credit cards, about $900 a month, goofing around, we only spend $2,860. Okay, that leaves over right around $1,600 extra left over, meaning that we wouldn't even have to spend that whole $4,400. Now, do I want that? No, of course I don't want that. I would much rather have more. I want millions. I've said this before. My first videos, I don't want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionsaire. I would like to have millions when I retire. But as you get older, I just turned 54. I'm not saying it's old. Simply saying it makes you think about different things. What are your priorities? I'm looking out the back of my shop here and looking at our place, and I do a lot of yard work out there. I built that pond, built this house, built those porches. I do a lot around here. Kind of hobby farming, no livestock, just kind of weeds, wild animals, birds, whatnot. Feed the deer once in a while. But this is kind of my hobby, and it don't cost anything, and I enjoy the crap out of it. Could I do this every day? You know, listen to those insects, listen to the birds. Can I do this for the rest of my life? Retired at 55? Man, that's something to think about. I'd have an extra $1,600 a month, every single month, for the rest of my life, over my bills and our play money. In other words, we'd have somewhere around, well, right at $2,500 every single month, discretionary spending. Take a trip. We took a trip recently to Lake of the Ozarks. Now, it's the most expensive Lake of the Ozarks trip a year that you can do. It's during shootout. We were down there for 8 days. Stayed at a very nice place, right on the water, private cabin. I mean, just gorgeous. Private dock, whole bit, just gorgeous. Right near the dam. Can't brag high enough about it, but no, I ain't telling anybody where it is, because I'm not going to compete with anybody, and I'm renting it every single year, and there's only one of them. So, tough luck. But that entire trip, including the cost of the cabin, cost us less than $4,500. Now, we could have splurged. We could have gone crazy. Made it $6,000. If we have an extra $2,500 a month, every month, that's $30,000 a year. If we had that extra every month, we could easily afford to take this trip. Okay? And somebody say, well, what about insurance? Well, what's insurance cost? I don't know. With an HSA, I still can have a high deductible insurance. Let's say it costs $5,000 a year for her and I. That's $10,000. Okay? So $5,000 a piece, $10,000. That means 4 of those months where we have the extra $2,500 has to go to pay that. Just 4 months out of the whole year. See? I have an extra $30,000 discretionary a year. We can afford to pay $10,000 insurance, take a $6,000 vacation. Hell, take 2 $6,000 vacations. Plus still afford to do any work we want to do around here and pay our taxes. Which, if we're only withdrawing $50,000 a year out of the 401k, how much do you think taxes are on that? Man, it ain't much. Not for 2 people. The standard deduction now is, off the top of my head, I've forgotten it, but I want to say it's over $30,000 for a couple. I want to say it's like 34 or 30. I'll have to correct myself here, or somebody will correct me in the comments, but it eats up over half that. we'll be paying a 10 to 12% tax rate. We're paying almost nothing in taxes. Can we do it? Well, actually, the answer is yes. Are we going to do it? Only if I have to. And only if I have to means that if I did have to leave my job, I'd probably still go ahead and try to find another job for a couple of years at least. But I wanted to see, once I was able to answer that, can I do it? Well, yeah, actually I can. And probably live a little bit of a comfortable life, live just as comfortable as I live right now. Now, I will tell you, we spend a lot more than that right now because we're still building this place. Okay? Plus, we're putting in $1,250 a month into an IRA. And my wife's getting ready to get a 401k through her new job. We're doing HSAs. My 401k at work, I put $30,000 into a year. So, I mean, we're putting a lot of money away, over $50,000 a year. And so out of the money we make, we're saving that much. And then you got about $40,000 worth of taxes. Would it be a change? Yeah. Would it be a change for the worse? I don't think it would be. I still have a lot to do. I do stuff around here on the weekends. I trim my trees. I mow my grass. We got 5 acres here. I go out in the woods and I find cool looking pieces of wood and drag them up, put them in the yard, you know. Or I work on the boat. Or I split wood. I got a wood splitter right here next to me. I got a wood burning stove right there. I enjoy the heck out of cutting wood. I got plenty of wood to cut. Fishing. Whatever. Target practice. I shoot guns. Can I retire at 55? Can you retire at 55? What would it actually take? And I asked this question on Facebook a lot. And I used to give the exact same answer these guys are giving. People would say, what do you need to retire? And I'd say 2.5 million, at least 2.5 million. And now I'm finding out I don't need near that much, not even half that much. I can literally retire on $412,000 at 55. But here's the good news. I've said this on videos before. It's one of my favorite sayings. What if you wait one more year? Well, what's that look like? 55, 412,000, 4,400 a month. Wait one more year. Just one more year. Tough it out one more year, man. You can do that. Now it's 500,000. Now it's $500,000. Hell, people retire at $500,000 all the time. That's not even uncommon. You can go on YouTube and put in retire on 500,000 or $500,000. And there'll be 100 damn videos, at least 100 damn videos pop up. People showing you how they did it. $5,100 a month. Our expenses are $2,800 a month. This gives us $5,100 a month. That's $2,300 discretionary money every month, on top of the $900 we blow on our credit cards. One more year, 57. Now you're at $596,000, almost $600,000. Now you're up to $5,800 a month. 58, $700,000, almost $750,000. Now you're up to $6,600 a month. 3 times, more than 3 times what you need, and more than double what you're already spending discretionary at 58 years old. I went all the way down to 62, tops out at $10,500 a month. That's at 62. And now that I know for sure that I could actually retire at 55 on $412,000, man, it sure makes the decision a lot easier to retire at 62 if I decide to wait for over $1 million. But it's just food for thought. Tell me what you think in the comments. Also, I've been wanting to do something for a long time. I think I mentioned this once before. I actually started to call this stuff, these talks I have about finances, and other things will happen in the future. I've always wanted to call it Behind the Boat. And the reason why is because when us and our friends get together at the lake, It's these kinds of conversations we have when we're soaking in the water behind the boat, drinking some beers or whiskey in our case. Now, of course, I can't do this in the water. That's not practical. But I've been thinking about moving the camera back here for a while and do the videos right here. Plus, I get to look at my backyard. Man, my backyard is beautiful. I love it. So tell me what you think about that behind the boat. I mean, I'm still a dump trucker. That ain't changed. I still don't know everything, but I know enough. I'm learning every day. And what I thought last year, I don't think now. And what I think now, I may not think next year. Tell me what you think. Till then.